Hey, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Happy day number 2. So as you come on, please do, as always, drop into the comments below hi and where you are tuning in from. Obviously, we love hearing where people are, obviously joining us. Obviously, the replays have been sent out. They will be sent out every morning at 7 a.m. There were a number of people that actually registered in between the end of yesterday's class to today. So if you are joining us for the first time, do not worry. Yesterday's replay is already up, and obviously you'll have the ability to go back and watch that until next Monday, October 2nd, at 9 p.m. EDT. So the replays will be up for a full week, so you can go back and you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want. Now, also, just really quickly, Nancy's going to drop into the chat. If you have not yet joined the Facebook group, it is a private group. The homework accountability assignments are there. Important updates are in there. And obviously that's the opportunity you have to win one of the 2 prizes that we hand out every single day. If you have not yet joined, we have close to 300 people registered to the event. Not even half are in the Facebook group as of yet. So if you do want to stay connected, have the opportunity to win some great prizes all this week, make sure that you click that link that Nancy dropped into the chat, so you can obviously stay better connected. Just a couple pieces of housekeeping. As I mentioned, these are live and recorded every day this week, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. EDT. Nancy did announce yesterday that she will be doing a bonus Q&A session. I will actually be coaching Taylor. I'm his baseball coach for their fall ball team. So you'll be spending an hour with Nancy, full Q&A with her. That is at 11 a.m. EDT on Saturday. It's a full hour. We're actually going to send a form out to all attendees, so you can actually pre-submit questions for Nancy that she will obviously answer first and foremost, and then she will obviously then open it up if there is time at the end for the rest of the room to ask questions. The last time we did this was, I think, 2 months ago. I did a LinkedIn workshop. There were over 75 pre-submitted questions. I did get through all of them in the 60 minutes, and there was still a little bit of time left. So
rapid fire.
It's a lot of rapid fire stuff. So the other piece of housekeeping, just remember, 7 a.m. every single morning. The day after, you will be getting an email with the replay link. The link that everyone received this morning, it's the same replay link. So if you opened it up and watched the replay, leave it open and just refresh your page the next morning, because you'll see the next day appear. That is the only replay page we have for all 5, now 6 days. So that is where you can watch it back. Also, just remember that there are going to be 3 emails sent out additionally leading into the next day. There's going to be an hour warning email, a 15-minute warning email, and we are live. We actually checked. There were a few people that, I don't know if they did it by accident, but they unsubscribed. So now they are not receiving any communication from us. So if there's any important information, you will not receive it. So make sure you do not report it as junk. Do not unsubscribe, because that means you will be cut off of any and all information from myself and Nancy. If anyone does need anything, Nancy is going to type our support email in the chat. It's support@thetimetogrow.com. If you still haven't gotten your workbook, which we've actually attached to every single email that we send out, except the We Are Live one. So the workbook is attached to the replay email, the 1-hour warning email, and the 15-minute warning email. So we send out the workbook 3 times a day. So if you have not received it yet, just go back to one of those 18,000 emails we've already sent, and you can download it right from there. Also, do not forget, we'll be announcing 2 homework winners at the end of today's session. They will be up. We're giving away 2 Amazon gift cards today, and obviously we'll be doing 2 more every day until Saturday. And again, or actually Friday, there's going to be 2 winners that are going to be announced. that are going to get an autographed copy of Nancy's book and my book. And then there'll be 2 grand prize winners announced on Saturday that will get free access to my 5 layers of LinkedIn virtual course. So we'll be giving out 2 Amazon gift cards every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, autographed copies of our books. And on Saturday, 2 people are going to get access to my 5 layers of LinkedIn virtual course. And to participate and to have the ability to do that, obviously you have to be in the Facebook group because that is where we pull the winners from. And you have to complete the accountability assignment. So Nancy's going to drop into the chat the Facebook group URL one last time. So if you have not yet joined, please do so. Now, in the chat below, please type and let us know what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday's session, which obviously was clarifying your niche. You know, what light bulbs turned on? You know, how did the needle move in one direction as opposed to the other? You know, what really resonated with you in everything that we discussed yesterday? Type that big takeaway in the chat before we get started, because we're going to be going over a very important aspect of the process of building your personal brand, which is messaging and clarifying that message. Talking about how a client will feel rather than what you can provide. Absolutely, Jen. I could not agree more. That is so important. And that's the thing. You need to figure out, again, you are a solution provider, right? You want to make sure, what is that client? How are they going to feel? What are the results that they're going to get? I like how Nancy explained a deeper niche, such as Hashimoto's related, etc. Yeah, it's one thing to be a health and wellness coach, but it's another one to focus on diabetes. Maybe you focus on type 1 and type 2 diabetes, writing up nutrition plans for those specific people. It's the same thing we talk about with accounting or bookkeeping, right? You may be an accountant, which one of our clients is, and we've helped him grow his practice because he focuses just on small businesses. So a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm not close to defining any, thought about it during the webinar, but I'm all over the place. Well, Mike, obviously you're going to get more clarity as we go through it. Nancy, anything you wanted to add before we dive into day 2?
No.
Okay, so
I always say no, and then I like chime in. No, I think we've got a lot to cover today. And I think, if you are, or anyone is stuck, on niching, again, remember to start at the top, right? And today we're going to dig a little bit deeper. I call it peeling back the onion layers of building out your personal brand. And so even today, as we kind of get clear on crafting your message and your simple business statement, it's going to peel some of that back for you, and you might have some aha moments.
Yeah. And the other big thing that you want to start thinking about, and this is what Nancy and I were actually talking about this morning, and you want to ask yourselves, has my business been in the same place that it's been in for the last 6 months, the last year, the last 2 years, the last 3 years? Has my business been stagnant, grown a little bit, or not grown at all? And again, there's specific reasons for that, right? And we want to uncover and unlock those reasons, because we have grown each and every year, each of the last 5 years consecutively, while reducing the amount of time that we work. We were interviewing this incredible, I mean, I don't know how would you describe Andy? Yeah, he's an online marketer. But, when we told him we only work 3 days a week, his eyes lit up, and it spoke directly to him. Because again, we want to live more and work less, but have systems and everything in place to grow and continue to impact more people, and continue to grow more of our business and get the results for the people that we are working with. So we want you to really think about that this entire week. What can I be doing to finally move that needle forward? Has my business flatlined, stayed the same, or gone backwards? Because what we don't want to happen, we don't want people to give up on their dreams. We don't want people to get so frustrated with where they are that they end up going and doing something different. They just say, you know what? I tried, I gave it the whole college try, but I'm done. It really takes some time to build a business, but there are certain things that we need in place to make all of that happen. And understanding everything from top to bottom, left, right within your personal brand is absolutely one of those things. So if you guys are ready to dive in and learn phase 2 of building your personal brand, which is getting clear on your messaging, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. All right, I'm going to share my screen, and then I am going to turn it over to Nancy so she can dive on in. Just want to do a couple things, present, and then I'm going to hide video panel. And we are ready to rock and roll. Nance?
All right. So if you guys can just type a Y or a yes in the chat box, if you guys can see our screen, we have minimized the video so we can't see you. However, we know, okay, excellent. Excellent. We want to make sure you can see us. All right. So of course, today, really, we're focusing on messaging, right? Crafting a simple message to create more sales in your business, right? It's important to be very clear and communicate our business and really establish ourselves, especially from a personal branding standpoint, how we would like to put ourselves out there into the world. So again, you guys have the workbook. There's going to be a little exercise in here that's going to help you kind of break that down a little bit more. Just like Scott said, every single email that you guys get from us pretty much is going to include
Except that we are live one.
And the replay links. Okay. So we are going to dive into how to set yourself apart from the others, right? In the crowded online space. I have said this and I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are a ton of people out there online trying to build their business, trying to generate sales. And there are a lot of people who are not doing this well.
Well, and the key is Nancy just said trying, and we want to take you from try to do. We want you to build your business, not try to build a business.
Okay. And one thing I know for sure, and with all the people that I've worked with, in the past, whether it be coaches, consultants, business professionals, all good personal brands have 3 things. Okay. Number 1, they have a clear vision. Number 2, they have a purpose. And number 3, they have an action plan, right? A way to really stay consistent with all of these things. So if we focus on the first one, right, the vision of your business, okay, and I don't mean this in a super fluffy way, right, there's intention right behind this, is what is the actual vision that you have for your business? Okay, you could be a health insurance broker, you could be a real estate agent, you could be a coach, a consultant, you could be someone who, is a mindset coach. What is the overall vision? And I really like to say that your vision, quite honestly, is like an umbrella. Right? I get all the time where people are so passionate about so many things. I always tell them, go back to your vision, right? The vision is that overall umbrella that's really, going to be the thing that you can create different things, right? Different services, products, you can put out different content that falls underneath that vision. But you got to think about what that is first, right? It's the clear path of why your business exists and what you are doing.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as clarity with your vision, 10 being crystal clear, I know exactly what I'm doing, 1 being I need some help. Type in the chat, where would you rate yourselves on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to clarity with the vision of your business, what you offer, how to grow, all of those things that need to be in place. So I see 2, 5, 6, 9, 8, 5, 5. Good. Awesome. So again, everyone's at a different place. But again, we need to take that clarity, not only get it to a 10, but give it an action plan behind it and continue moving down the road to what you want to succeed with.
Yeah. And what I want to show you guys is your vision is not necessarily, right? We're not talking about business statement yet. Your vision, right, is just that overall big picture of really why you're doing what you're doing, right? So just to give you some big brand vision statements, right? So IKEA, I think most of us know, IKEA, our vision is to create a better everyday life for many people. Okay. Nike is bringing inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. McDonald's to be the best quick serve restaurant experience, being the best means providing outstanding quality service, cleanliness, and value so that we make every customer in every restaurant smile. Amazon, we strive to offer our customers the lowest possible prices, the best available selection, and the utmost convenience, right? You can start to see how these are kind of North Stars, right, for the companies and how they're sharing it. Okay. For our agency, so BYOB agency, which is build your online brand, confidently build the brand of you. to help people showcase what makes them unique and allow them to grow in business and life, living authentically and being true to themselves, right? Scott Aaron, I strive to teach people and businesses the power of true and authentic connection. Whenever I had my house cleaning business, it was called Work-Life Balance House Cleaning. I actually did 2 vision statements. One was for the people that I hired, and I, put a vision statement out for both. So the one was, we strive to create a place to work that focuses on fun, fitness, and flexibility with your schedule, and on a actual client standpoint, I did, we come clean your home so you can enjoy the free time that you work so hard for. So there is not a perfect science to this. Okay. If you're stuck here and you're not really sure what your vision is, there are some things, right, that we can kind of peel back and we can dig in a little bit deeper. But really, sometimes if we haven't thought about this and we haven't sat and thought, man, why am I in the insurance business? Or, why am I in real estate? How is it that you really want to help people? What is that you're passionate about? What brought you to this place? I remember back in college taking an assessment because I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted my major to be. And after taking that assessment, I was so fired up because I knew that marketing, was something that I was going to be great at. And I got so fired up and passionate about it because with marketing, I got to work with tons of people. I got to kind of mix science and art, in a really cool way, right? There became different reasons. So I want you guys to think about why, right? What it is that you're doing, what is that big vision for your business? Okay. And then as we kind of dig deeper, right? So your purpose, why do you believe in what you believe in? Okay. And these answers are going to come in handy. Okay. And in your workbook, you guys have these questions that I'm going to break down. And in fact, I cut them down for the slides, just for time purposes, but you guys have actually about 10 questions that you're going to go through that I highly recommend you just clear, sit down maybe with a glass of tea or coffee or whatever you guys prefer, cuddle up in a little blankie and go through and answer those questions. Get it out of your mind. Sometimes subconsciously we're doing things and we don't know why we're doing them. If you guys just sit and you give yourself that peace and you really think about, why am I doing what I'm doing? You can help to, number one, build the confidence in sharing what it is that you do. Number two, you become more clear, yourself. And so things become much easier to share. Things become much more confident and easy whenever you're creating content and so much more. The other thing is you can use this, right? Notes. Let's say you guys do a speech, an interview, a podcast, or maybe you're doing a welcome video or doing a video for your website. These questions, right, are going to be great ways to introduce the world to you. This also helps with your mindset. Okay. Remembering why you started all of this in the first place. It also helps you remember what makes you unique and special.
Yeah. Your mindset that, Nancy and I always talk about this within our group coaching mastermind. We actually do a mindset call every Monday morning at 11:30 because we know the importance of how your mindset will play into what you do and what you do not achieve. And a lot of people end up sitting too much in the 6 inches between their ears, and you talk yourself out of things, you deliberate, you get overwhelmed, you just basically push yourself into a hole and you're constantly trying to crawl out of it. And when you have the right mindset, you have the clarity with what you want to achieve and what you want to do, and it's clear to the people that you're marketing with, right? It becomes a win-win, not only on the people that you're serving, but for you as well. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. We just want to make sure that as much as this is about tangible things that you need to do, a lot of it all starts up here. Because if we're not clear up here, if we're not confident up there, it's not going to come through clear and confident in what we're putting out onto social media and everything else that we're doing.
Absolutely. And there are going to be days, right, in our business, whether you guys work for someone else or whether you work for yourself, there are going to be days where you don't feel like doing the do, right? You're going to not have the motivation. You're going to kind of sit in front of your computer screen and you're going to think, right? This is also a nice little reminder why you started all this in the first place. Okay. So the first question that I'm going to share with you guys, and then I'm going to give you my examples, as I was working through these questions. So these are also in your workbook. So keep in mind, again, like I said, please take the time to go through and think about your answers for these questions. So the first one is, why are you in this industry? Okay, no matter what your industry is, right? I know Scott for years was in the health and wellness industry. There were reasons for that. I mean, he's very passionate about health and wellness. For me, right, I gave the example, I love marketing. Okay. I love to inspire others. I love to help them achieve their business goals. I love to teach, train, and lead a team. And this allows me to do that. I remember my mom, whenever I was little, and think back to when you guys were little, little kids, right? We forget sometimes those things that we were always drawn to. I love to teach. In fact, my mom used to take me to the teacher supply store, and I used to get charts and graphs and all kinds of stuff. It's just something I was really drawn to, so I think it's important to think back, what were you like when you were a kid? What are the things that you really enjoyed? Might kind of connect to what you're doing. The next is, what brought you here?
Now, I love this question. Part of what we teach people is rewinding the tape and really stopping in that pivotal moment in your life that catapulted you, or the catalytic moment that said, you know what, I need to make a decision. I need to shift things, and understanding what brought you to where you are going back instead of looking ahead. It's understanding exactly what brought you here. That it becomes important for two reasons. Number one, it leads back to clarity, which is what we're talking about. But number two, when you can share that with someone. So if you're prospecting, if you're generating leads, you're having conversations, and you can share that part of your journey with someone, you know what it does? It creates better relatability and connection with that person. So it lowers the wall of resistance and it raises the level of connection. So if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. All of this is so important. And again, we want to pull away the cobwebs and really give you that clarity with everything that you need to do.
Absolutely. And again, this is learning. That's why I always say building your personal brand is so personal, right? And it's so deep. And it's not just about business, right? Because we're really peeling back the layers of who you are, right? So what brought you here? So the example that I give, right, in my own experience, I was burnt out, exhausted. I was living someone else's dream. I was experiencing a lot of loss. And I really had that mentality. I finally hit that wall where, life is too short not to live authentically and show up every single day as myself. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? So that's part of my journey. Super huge, important question right here is, what are your core values?
Now, with speaking to core values, type in the chat just one of your core values. So again, we have many. Nancy actually did a game with me about a year ago where you had to kind of like pick out all your core values, and then you had to pick 10, and then you had like putting core values is like putting me into a box. I love that. Honesty, integrity, wonderful. Yeah. Faith, fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mary
Freedom.
Poppins. Yeah.
Caring. And what are the three things that everybody wants, Nancy?
Health, wealth, peace, and abundance.
Yeah. Well, that's 4, right? Health, wealth, peace, and abundance.
Yeah.
But again, those are all things, right?
Yeah.
Attention to detail, integrity, caring. Yeah. So we all have core values.
Absolutely. And guys, in your life, if you have not thought about what your core values are, I will tell you, when I didn't even think about my core values, sometimes I felt a little lost, right? I didn't really have a North Star. I really didn't have a compass whenever it came to making decisions. When I actually sat down and thought about what was important to me, right? Not other people, what was important to me, what were core values that I wanted to make sure to show up as, that I wanted to reflect in my business, in my personal life, with my family, right? Different things. So my core values, okay, super big with transparency. In fact, with every single client that I work with, I am very open and honest, right? Scott, even me, Scott and myself, right? We share a lot of stories, right? The bumps, the bruises, the pain, the things that we went through. I think transparency is so incredibly important, right? We are all real people. We are not perfect, right? We were not put on this earth to be perfect. Collaboration, right? That's huge in my agency. I love to collaborate. I love to work together with my clients, right? You don't want to, and I want to put this out there for anyone who does, maybe virtual assistant work or agency work, you don't want to become a vendor for your client, right? Where your vendor is just competing on, you're competing on price. You want to be a collaborator. You want to be someone who is helping them in their business and you are working together, okay? There are tons of companies out there, but what sets you apart? So that is huge to me. Wonder, right? The wonderful things in life, the childlike wonder, like there's so much wonder in this world. And I bring that again to business and personal. So again, those are just a few of mine. I mean, authenticity, structure, kindness, right? Those are big ones that we really stand for.
And the cool thing is we get
value.
We get to
right?
build a business together, and our main core value is helping others win. Like that is everything that Nancy and I do with all of our programs is to help others win.
Yep.
And nothing feels better than hearing wins from the people that we get to work with. So really understanding what your core values are, and again, being able to clearly let someone else know what they are, it's going to draw people to you, but it's also going to do one of the most important things. It's going to drive the people that aren't aligned with your core values into a different direction, because there are specific people that you do want to align yourself with, because then it becomes, as Nancy said, a wonderful collaboration.
Absolutely. So if you haven't done the work of figuring out your core values, guys, you can do a Google search. You can go on, AI if you want, ChatGPT, type in, give me a list of core values. Go through and pick out the ones that most resonate to you, right? Most people have at least maybe 3 to 5, but those are things that help you. And I will tell you, once I established mine, just decisions, whether it came to accepting an opportunity in business, when it came to working with someone, if I knew that the client wasn't very collaborative or wasn't open to being transparent with feedback, they weren't a good fit. So it's important, right, in our business and in our personal brands to form that core value little lineup right there. All right. So the next question is, what makes you a trusted resource? Okay. This is a big one because, again, online, right, there are a lot of people posting. I told you a lot of people are doing it wrong, but there are a lot of people who aren't really delivering the value, right? They're not experienced. They're sharing things and they're putting themselves out there in a way, and they don't really truly know what they're talking about. So what makes you a trusted expert? What makes you a trusted resource, right? You got to build that know, like, and trust. Okay. So think through all the things that you've been through. Think through all the people that you've helped, and that you've really helped, in business or what it is that you do. And if you haven't, I do challenge you guys, like, you got to do the do in order to be able to teach the teach. Okay. And if you feel like you're a little hesitant or you kind of have that, like, I don't know if this is going to work, guys, you've got to be able to deliver value.
Yep.
And so if you are not, and you don't have a program or service that really can deliver value for people, go back to the drawing board.
Yep.
Okay. So what makes you a trusted resource? For me, obviously, over 10 years of leadership experience, I mean, really 15, over 15 years of experience in leadership roles, running multiple $1 million businesses, starting my own business, working behind the scenes for many high-level entrepreneurs. We, right, Scott and I, we have done things and we do the do and we show you how. Right? We absolutely are so fired up and passionate about teaching and showing others what we have been through and what we've done, because we don't want you to have to go through the bumps and bruises like we have, right? We want to help show you the easier, more streamlined way to get there. Next, how do your services and products help people? Okay. Just like I said before, you better be able to deliver on what it is that you promise. Okay. We are in the business of solving problems for people, right? People pay for results. So what is it that you do? How do you help people? Okay. So for me, with every service that we offer, right, we help people show up more authentically and consistently in their business. Every training we provide gives actionable steps for success. Our goal is to make things easier for you and your business. Okay. There are so many things that we do. Okay. And it's all geared towards obviously helping people and making lives better. Okay. Next is, what is your why? Right. And this is the last question I'm going to go over with you guys. And again, you've got 5 more after this. But really think about it, right? I know it was Simon Sinek. If you guys haven't seen the TED talk that he did, Simon Sinek did one, and it was all about your why. It was really impactful. It was really great because it's such a simple concept. right? What is your why? It absolutely can totally rock your world if you remember why you were doing the things that you're doing. Okay. So, for me, I want to enjoy my life. I want to have a business that with every transaction I make others better. I want to help others share their magic with the world and not have regrets that they were not their true selves, right? I remember hearing on a podcast years ago, it was a leadership podcast that I listened to while I was driving home. And I remember it hit me so hard because one of the things that they said was on people's deathbeds, right? They interviewed, I think this, medical facility, and they said most people, what they regretted the most is that they did not live a life authentically to who they truly were, right? They did things for other people. They didn't build a business, or they didn't do things that really filled them up that they wanted to do. They were living their lives for other people, right? To make other people proud, to, help other people. So I am so passionate about that. I want to have time freedom and flexibility. I want to have control over my income and how I serve others. I want to spend more time with my family while they're here, and I want to live now. Okay. So this is the why that fires me up. I remember again, when I first started my, house cleaning business, I had just left my job at Apple, totally, quit my job. I took a month off, right? Kind of recalibrated. And then I dove headfirst into building that business. There were so many obstacles that came my way. And I remember one time I was in my kitchen, I was trying to figure out how to pay my mortgage, how to pay my student loans, how to pay my tax bill, like everything. It was like the big storm, right? The maelstrom of like everything just on me. And I remember the one thing that kept me going is remembering my why. I don't want to go back to the corporate world. I don't want to go back to the job that I was doing. I don't want to go back to doing the things that really did not feel in alignment.
And for me, I come from, as Nancy mentioned, I was in the health and wellness industry for a number of years. And, I owned and operated 3 health clubs. I was a very busy personal trainer. I was looking to finally have peace and ease in my life, working smarter and not harder. And it took a long time. When I first got into the online space doing health and wellness, I was probably working more then than I was as a personal trainer. And I didn't know how to turn it off. And it wasn't until Nancy and I put our heads together and said, how can we create something of our own business, our own offerings, our own products, our own services that help people the way that we're helping ourselves to streamline this process. And if you would have told me 5 years ago that we would eventually only be working 3 days a week, I would have said you're crazy, because I was working, no lie. Even when we first started dating, I was taking calls on the weekends. We would be on dates and I would have to get on the phone. Like it was bad because it wasn't even FOMO. I was chasing my tail. I thought the more that I worked, the more that I would earn. And it was the opposite. It's not the less that you work, the more that you needed to have something in place. We had no system. We had no structure. And that's what she's just incredible at. And now, again, we're living this abundant life personally and professionally because we got clear with everything. That's what we want. We have such giving hearts in everything that we do. And we see and know how hard people are working right now and how many people are struggling. And we want to be that prescription, so to speak, that you follow the prescription of what we lay out and how to do things the way that we've done it. It's going to provide the same results for you. And it's happened time and time again. So really understanding why you do what you do. And I love what Nancy wrote here, spending more time with family while they are here. Building your own dreams, building your own business, creating your own schedule, doing things when you want, with who you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, it was so funny, just to share a little story, right? So we do have a Mindset Monday call, that we do with our mastermind group for our program. And this past Monday, I had actually read a book that my uncle had recommended to me. It was called The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. And it was a book that he got, years ago for one of his birthdays. And I just thought it was so incredible, right? This book was originally written in like the
1100s.
1100, and then it was brought back up, in the 1800s, and retranslated and rewritten, and it's a beautiful poem. And the whole moral of the story, right, of the entire poem is, right, the same stuff, right? It's about living life and counting every single day, right, as the
Right now.
only day that we have. Tomorrow's not promised. We must live today, right? So I just, again, I'm so fired up. I'm always constantly reminded, don't let it take something awful, right, to remind you that we only have so much time here.
And let's not wait anymore. Like,
Yeah.
Perseverating on certain things and waiting for a certain time and wait, next month or next year, or let me wait till January. There's no perfect time. Do you know when the perfect time is? Right now. You have to create it. You open the doors to so many things by making new decisions right now, not a week from now, not 2 weeks from now, because we have this thought process that we're like, you know what? Things are going to slow up in a couple of months. Things are going to come off of my plate.
I'm too busy right now to really focus.
But I think we all know, I think every single person on here can agree, when we have those thoughts of like, oh, once I get this done, that's off my plate, it'll be clear. No, when something comes off, guess what? It gets replaced with something else. So you have to make time for what is most important to you.
Yeah.
So if growing your business, growing your income, growing your impact is important to you, you'll make the time for it.
Absolutely. So these questions, right, were not put together just for, for fun. We're peeling back layers, guys, and again, if it's building the personal brand, this isn't just a personal brand for what you're currently doing. We're setting up your personal brand for future, things that you're going to be doing as well. So, there are, again, the questions in your workbook. You can kind of go through. This is what's going to set you apart from your competition. The thing that I want you guys to keep in mind, I'm not going to go to any of these right now, but, check out other people's about me pages. Like, what are other people sharing? What brought them here? I think it's so interesting and fun to kind of take a look at and hear other people's journeys. I was listening to an episode. There's a podcast called Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard the other day. And I was never really a big Kelly Clarkson fan. I didn't really know her, didn't really, learn too much about her, but she was sharing her backstory. And I was like, holy cow, man, you've been through a lot. And to get to where she is, it's very impressive. And hearing that made me feel like, oh, okay, I kind of like her now, it helped me connect a little bit more.
Well, I mean, the Rock is, if anyone knows Dwayne Johnson, like, it was the same thing. He wanted to actually be a professional football player. He went to the University of Miami. He was actually on that incredible Miami Hurricanes team with Ray Lewis and Warren Sapp and a ton of Hall of Famers. But they were honest with him. They're like, you're going to have to think about doing something different. And, obviously you guys know his father was a wrestler. And look at him now. He shares the story very openly that he had like $14 to his name in his pocket.
Yeah.
And then obviously he got his big break. And we're not saying that you have to wait until you have $14 in your pocket to get your big break.
Yeah.
But if you really want something bad enough, you'll do whatever it takes to get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now we're going to kind of take, okay. And of course, right, you guys are going to do that tonight, go through those questions. Really, I want you to have a clear mind. And I want you guys to also, right, I'm a big fan of getting stuff out of your head and down on paper. So if you feel like what's coming out of you is more than just a paragraph, let it flow. Okay. Yeah. So let that come out. But after you get all the answers to that, we're going to take it and we're going to kind of put it through a little machine, right? We're going to squeeze it down a little bit more. Okay. So now we're talking about crafting a clear message of what it is that you do. Okay. And this also comes in handy, guys, how to tell your family and others what you do. It can be helpful to tell and share with networking groups, podcasts, referrals, leads, family connect calls, Facebook groups, and obviously promotional content. Some people call it the elevator pitch. I know, in fact, we're reading a book right now where the guy is like, death to the elevator pitch. He like hates it. Well, that's, obviously the unpopular opinion. It's so important just because, guys, I want you to understand how to be able to communicate what it is that you do very simply and easily. Okay. Just like I said, maybe you get on a podcast or maybe you get on a live or a live stream and you want to share what it is that you do. I want to make sure you guys can clearly and cleanly explain what that looks like.
So if everybody is clear so far, with where we are, please drop a Y or a yes in the chat, because again, we're helping you build the framework out of this so you can continue to go back, refine, go back, refine. And as Nancy beautifully mentioned, this is not just for what you're doing right now. It's going to be for what you may consider doing in the future, other things that you might create and launch. And this is all going to help you.
Absolutely. So this framework is actually, I mapped this out. So there was an episode on Donald Miller's podcast. Okay. And for those of you who don't know Donald Miller, he is a huge advocate, right, of personal branding. He wrote a lot of books on your personal brand story, Marketing Made Simple, Business Made Simple. I love it. One of his core values, in fact, his vision is he wants to take really difficult, complex things and make them simple for everyone to understand. So he has done a really, really great job helping to really break things down. And so this was inspired, okay, by that podcast. So Mike, the link is actually in the bottom corner of the notes, and I do believe it's in the workbook as well. But if you go to buildingastorybrand.com, I believe it's mini-sode episode 1. Okay. So the breakdown here is we have to first state the problem. Okay. What is the pain point you help your customer resolve?
Now, we really want you to pay attention to these next few slides, because not only are they epic, and we want you to really picture this and really let these examples sink in, because it's going to not even just give you clarity. The light bulbs, I promise you, will start turning on from these next few slides.
Yes. And I will tell you guys, I have been there as an entrepreneur. I've been there where it was really difficult for me to explain what it is that I did. I knew that I help people. I know that the people that I work with, you know, they were like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. But sometimes it was so hard for me to clearly communicate, okay, well, yeah, I do this. So we're reeling it in, and we're really making sure that you're able to do this simply. Okay. We're not going to go on this big, long tangent. We're going to break it down into a little bit of an equation. Okay.
And just really quickly,
Yeah.
Here's the thing. When someone asks you what you do and the first word out of your mouth is we have a problem. So you don't want, because that means you're thinking about what it is and how can I explain it to someone? So if just think about that. How many times have people asked you what it is that you do, and the first thing that you say is, well, that means you're not clear on what it is that you offer and who you serve, and obviously all those things.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So think about, right, in this step, I want you to identify your customer and the major problem you've helped them eliminate. Okay. Where is life painful or uncomfortable? You can get specific, but keep it concise. And here's an example, okay, for a pre-made, right? So the business, let's pretend this is a business that does pre-made dinner delivery service, that does a pre-made dinner delivery service. So you can see how this will look, right? So the pain point and problem is parents are so busy in the evening with kids' activities and homework that they don't have time to make a healthy dinner. They end up ordering takeout or eating processed stuff from the freezer. Okay. You can see that. That is literally 2 sentences. Okay. There's the target customer. There's the pain point. It's clear. It's relatable. It's specific. Boom.
So if that makes sense so far, please drop a Y or a yes in the chat. We want to take you through this nice and slow. So again, this is the pain, right? Very clear, very simple, very apparent.
Okay. So just an example, right, of what this looks like for our mastermind, right? Expert Authority Mastermind. Coaches and professionals are inundated with so much information and aren't sure how to set themselves apart as an expert in their industry. They end up feeling overwhelmed, inconsistent, and exhausted trying to generate leads online, right? Sound familiar? Number 2, the solution. Okay. So what is your unique solution to that pain point? Okay. So in this step, show how you take that pain away. What's your solution? The key here is to show how your solution is different than other stuff they've tried before, right? So back to our meal delivery service. So I deliver pre-made, wholesome, frozen dinners at an affordable weekly price, not just a box of ingredients with a recipe. This service takes away, right, the pain of scrambling to make dinner in order to take out or ordering takeout instead. And it's different from other meal delivery services because the meals are already prepared. There's no extra effort involved, for busy moms and dads. Okay. So you can see, right? Wow, this is an awesome solution. It's a unique solution and it answers that original pain point that we had. So again, bringing it back to our case, right? So with the Expert Authority Mastermind, so our mastermind offers training one-on-one and resources to help you write and publish your own book, start a podcast, and build your personal brand online through a year-long high accountability program. Okay, solutions. Next, for step 3, it's all about the reward. Okay, how does your customer's life look different after their pain is resolved? Okay, so finally, your one-liner needs to describe how someone's life changes as a result. This is where you get to describe the transformation of what's possible when that pain goes away. So one last time with our meal delivery service example, with dinner handled, parents can stop stressing about it, relax, and enjoy time with their family. So you can see, right, there's the transformation because customers who say yes to this service aren't really saying yes to dinner. They're saying yes to all those benefits, right? They want that stress-free time around the table with people that they love. Okay. So again, bringing it together with our mastermind. So Expert Authority Mastermind with a clear plan, resources, and high accountability, coaches and professionals have the support they need to level up their business and their brand and be seen as the expert in their industry.
So if all of that has made sense so far and you have more clarity around it, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Perfect.
Okay. So seeing it all together, guys, again, right? That first little chunk, right? It's just an equation, right? It's a little formula. That first one is all about the problem, right? And who you're speaking to. So just kind of following along, just as we went through, right? Coaches and professionals, we're gearing everything towards that. Middle part is the solution,
what we're offering,
what it is that you do. How do you help fix this? How do you help support? And then the third is the reward. Right? What are people really walking away? I will tell you, and I said this yesterday, a lot of people fail, okay, to talk about the benefits of what it is that they do. They talk a lot about the features. They talk a lot about what's included. They talk a lot about, oh yeah, you get a one-on-one call, you get a training, you get a this, but they don't talk about how people's lives are going to change, right? The feeling, the emotion, right? We want people to feel certain things.
Well, the fact is, remember, people are paying for results. Nancy said this, a half hour ago. That's what people are paying for. So you have to think about, as a coach, as a consultant, as a service provider, as a business owner, people are paying for the result. Yes, they love you. Yes, they want to work with you. Yes, they want to do everything that you're offering, but they're saying yes to that result. They're at a place right now. You got to think about that. They're at a certain pain point right now in their life, in their business, in their income, and they want that to change. And they want that to change through what you offer.
Absolutely. All right. So that was, obviously creating your overall, elevator pitch. It was really breaking down. Again, guys, that's going to be so useful for you to take the time to do that. Being on podcasts, being on so many different things. So now, like I said, we're kind of taking it through a machine to squeeze down more and more. We want to create a very brief, simple business statement. Okay, this is going to be a very brief description of a product or service and an explanation of how it fulfills a particular need of the target market. Okay, this isn't paragraphs. This isn't, long-winded. This is very short and sweet. When your audience visits your social media, they should understand what you do and who you help, right? We use the quote all the time. I think Del Miller originally said it. Don't make people burn calories trying to figure out what the heck you do. Okay. The minute people are confused and they're starting to burn calories and they're looking around and trying to figure out, what does Phil do? What does Mike do? What does Barb do? What's going on, right? That's when you start to lose people, right? It should be very, very simple. So there are a couple little kind of like Mad Libs where you can kind of fill in the blank. Again, these are in your workbook as well. But one fill in the blank that you guys can do is, right, I use my natural ability to blank and my skills in blank to help others blank in the blank industry. Okay, so obviously you can go through and kind of play around with it a little bit, but I put in mine, right? I use my natural ability to problem solve and my skills in social media marketing to help others build their personal brands online in the coaching industry.
I mean, it can't get any more clear than that. If all this is kind of like making sense, with what we went over yesterday with clarifying your niche, and now conveying that with your messaging and clarity. Drop a Y or a yes in the chat, because this is so vital. This one of the main reasons why someone's business isn't where you want it to be is because they can't explain to other people what they do. And also, if you go to someone's Facebook page, like if you go to their Facebook profile, and in that heading at the top, it has an inspirational quote and not what it is that you do. So what is it that you do? You provide inspirational quotes. People need to know the problems that you solve, how you help people. Like, it's so impactful when someone goes to my Facebook profile and it says LinkedIn expert, podcaster, mastermind, co-owner, all those things.
Yep.
People need to know what it is that you do and how you serve people.
Yeah. And just to guys, you can use ChatGPT, you can use AI. Obviously, we use it occasionally for things, but you can type in what it is that you do, and you can say, please, write one short sentence to describe what it is that I do. And you can type in what you do, and you can even go back and you can say, rewrite at a 7th grade level, or write it and make it so easy that a
5-year-old would understand.
A 12-year-old, could understand it. So you can, more now than ever, right? There's no excuse. There's no reason why we cannot reel this in and get very clear on this. But day after day, okay, I always use the quote. Sometimes it's hard to see the label when you're inside the jar. When we are in our own business and we are doing the do every single day, we forget sometimes that, it isn't clear and we don't understand and we don't see that. I was listening to a podcast episode the other day that a woman was going through. So she was a coach and she was pulling up people's Instagram accounts and she was auditing them. And she said, guys, do I have full permission to say whatever I want about your profiles? And she did. And she was going through and I was giggling. I was actually, as I was getting ready in the morning, I was kind of giggling because she's like, no one cares. No one cares. She was like, remove this. What does that even mean? She said, stop making it about you. Make it simple for your people to hire you. Nobody cares, if you this, that, or what. Like, people had the craziest things on their profile that had nothing to do with their services. Yep. Make it clear where they got to go to hire you. Make it clear what it is that you help people with. All right. So example number 2, here's just another one that you guys can use. Again, also in your workbook, but it's your company name. Plus delivers the best, helps, etc. Your solution plus your target audience plus their ultimate goal, right? That's what we want to solve and what we want to do. So my example here is BYOB agency delivers the best personal branding and online business growth for service-based entrepreneurs who are looking to grow their impact and income online. Okay. Short, sweet, to the point. Okay. So as we kind of bring it home here, guys, we also have some examples. There's some additional ideas for Instagram bios in your workbook. So, definitely take a look at those. Like I said, use ChatGPT, use some of the different things that are available out there. Got a couple examples here, just some showing you, right? One sentence, right? We can only fit so much, right? In some of these things. So it's got to be very clear on who you help and how you help people. And again, I always say this, if you are struggling to explain this and you're struggling to really communicate this is a great time, right? To put your foot down and say, that's it. Enough of all this other stuff. I want to get very clear and I want to get very specific on what I want to be known for.
Yep. So as far as what we're going to be going over tomorrow, we're going over the build and the structure around the routines of maintaining a strong online presence. So now that you've clarified your niche, right? You've also gotten clarity on your messaging. How can you combine those things and maintain that strong online presence so people know who you are, know what you do, know the results that you provide for people so you can grow your business? So if everybody is clear on that, please drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So again, the way that we always build out these workshops is we layer them. So one day layers to the next. So again, that's why we record them, but we really want you here live and direct so we can kind of talk you through this process. So it is really important to make sure that you've dedicated the time this week to join us all this week. You know, we do these lunch and learn sessions now to make it very easy to join at 1 o'clock. So again, we'll be meeting at 1 o'clock tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and then we're doing the bonus Q&A session with Nancy on Saturday at 11 a.m. So we'll be sending out information about that. As far as your accountability assignment for today, that has to be done 30 minutes prior to tomorrow, so by 12:30 tomorrow, is in the Facebook group, pinned to the top. It's going to say day 2 Nancy's homework thread. Post your simple business statement in the comments. So go through the process of what we've walked you through in this in today's exercise, and then all you're going to do is you are going to drop it in the comments in that post. So if everybody's clear on that, please drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And again, anyone that wants to watch back the recordings, the replays go out every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. So there was a replay email that went out this morning at 7 a.m. That same replay link you're going to use every single day, 7 a.m. every single morning. We're going to be sending it out. So drop into the comments, what was your biggest takeaway from today's session? So with obviously moving the needle forward, what did you really take away most from today's session? And again, we do have 2 winners to announce for the 2 first Amazon gift cards that we're going to be giving out. All the replays are available until next Monday, October 2nd at 9 p.m. EDT. So you can watch all the replays from every day until next Monday. The pain point emphasis, yep. About me sections, keeping it simple, narrowing my target audience and giving them a label. Absolutely. So again, the first 2 winners. So we're going to be doing Amazon gift cards today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Friday, we're going to have 2 winners that win autographed copies of each of our books. And then also we're going to have 2 winners that get access to my 5 layers of LinkedIn virtual course. So the 2 winners, Michael Foss and Karen Blankenship. So obviously, if you registered for the event, we have your email, so there's really nothing you need to do. We'll be sending you those Amazon gift cards. So congratulations to those 2 winners. Again, to qualify for the prizes each and every day, you first must be in the private Facebook group, which I just dropped the link in there. And then second, you got to complete the accountability assignment by just posting it at the top of the Facebook page where it's going to be pinned. So we really hope you enjoy day 2. We're excited about tomorrow and day 3 and what we're going to be teaching you. So love and gratitude. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll